offshore wind. Okay, offshore wind. So I'm going to give you a second now to just think about how you could put a wind turbine out in the sea. There's a few different ways of doing it, so I'll give you 1 second here now, and then I'll tell you. Okay, so there's two like main ways that people think of. So there's the way of just creating a base which comes up from the bottom of the sea with a big like concrete pillar or some other material pillar all the way up to the top, and then just put your wind turbine on top of that and then go all the way up to the sky wherever you need your wind turbine. And that is one perfectly fine way. That's the way they do it in a lot of countries. They just create this concrete pillar which connects onto the ground or made of some other material, and then they put the wind turbine on top, and that's how they get their energy. But there is also a way with floats, and you can just have a float which this wind turbine sits on, and that's the idea for deeper water. They want to put on these floats that the wind turbine could sit on, rather than trying to get these pillars to fit down to the ground, which is way, way far down. There's a huge advantage to wind turbines because wind turbines have been developed so well on the land. We know so much about wind turbines. Like, I'd say nearly every university in Ireland anyways has done some work on wind turbines throughout the years, and most other universities in the world, because wind was one of the main drivers of this renewable energy, and it was like the wind and maybe solar were like the logos everyone knew when they saw a wind turbine. It was something about renewable energy and all that kind of stuff. And there's that old saying, I'm a big fan of renewable energy, which is just a picture of a wind turbine. But basically, wind turbines, they're really well developed, and that's the advantage to putting them out in other places like the sea or up on mountains and anywhere else you can think of. I don't know, in Antarctica, if you could figure out a way of doing that. But it's because we know how they work and we know how to design them for different conditions and stuff. But that's also the disadvantage. These devices were designed to be on the land. So when you put them out in the sea, it's a new style of marine energy using a well-developed energy source on the land and placing it out in floating platforms in the sea or out on columns in the sea. And it's well developed on the land is the advantage. And also another advantage is, especially for countries that are small, so say Ireland, it's very, very small. We have a lot of disagreements in Ireland about wind turbines being placed on one person's land and it's too close to my land, and they're going to fight about it and say I don't want to see a wind turbine all the time because they don't like the way it looks, and then another person doesn't mind it. And most people tend not to mind it, but some people do. And then you get arguments like noise levels. So in Ireland at the moment, the law is it can't be above 80 decibels at the closest residence, which is, it's not too loud, 80 decibels. It's about the same as a guy playing acoustic guitar on a street. So if you want to know how high that is, like an acoustic guitar busker. That's like another issue. But if we put them out in the sea, the advantage is nobody's around to hear these devices. Nobody's around to look at them. So the argument is kind of like way, way lessened. There's not as many people that go out there and see them and give out about them and all that kind of stuff. So that's another advantage. We put them out of sight kind of thing. Like I said, the disadvantage is their fatigue life is reduced in the marine environment. So that means their life before they fail. So on land, a wind turbine is designed for at least a 20-year fatigue life, which means it's about 20 years before they have their first major break. Okay, and it's usually on the land. It's like their blades which break the most often because they try to save as much money as possible and save as much weight as possible in the blade, so they design them thin so they can use less material, but it also keeps it strong enough to last for those 20 years or whatever amount of time they're designed for. But in the sea, it's not actually the blades which will fail, because the blades are designed to work in winds of whatever type. It's actually more like the structure. Say if it was concrete, the concrete could get worn away by the water. Say if it was the metal can rust used to hold up the turbine, or used on the rotors, or the electronics inside from the salt getting into them and all that kind of stuff. So their fatigue life is reduced. So they estimate that like it's about 5 years on a if you put a regular wind turbine that was on the land and put it out in the sea, it's about 5 years the fatigue life would reduce down to because of other things failing inside of the wind turbine. So what they do is they develop it. They have to develop it with more expensive and different materials in order to make it last longer, or more materials. For like example, the blades will be thicker probably just to last those stronger winds they're getting out in the sea and stuff like that. So that's offshore wind. Offshore wind is thought to be one of the biggest growers in Ireland in the next couple of years, because we just have so much sea area we could put offshore wind in. Okay.